Have you always wondered, why is it such a therapeutic experience when our eyes look at minimalist homes? The sleek design, uncluttered finish, and spaciousness do not come by chance. They have been intentionally crafted to create the perfect environment for a living oasis. In this course video, you will learn 5 key principles that will help to equip you in achieving your minimalist home. The first point is essentialism. The first principle of minimalist design is being absolutely disciplined to only have nothing but necessary. Have items that must either be important, useful, or meaningful to you. Essentialism is the power antidote for today's craziness in the amount of possessions that we all have. Items that do not have a place should be thrown, donated, or recycled away. This is from a functional point of view. From an aesthetic point of view, by clearing the clutter out of our life, the remaining space gives your eyes a chance to rest. Note that essentialism ultimately results in having less but more. Minimalist homes also tend to have a neutral color scheme, or the design of the furniture should be kept simple. This will allow the different pieces to not compete for attention and create a more uniform look. Although furniture or built-in carpentry are kept to a minimal when possible, it is also about ensuring the practical needs are met in the long run. The materials that are used must be durable or comfortable, and the appropriate textures will help to elevate the required look. It does not mean that it will be expensive, but it certainly means that everything will be well thought through. The second point is space creation. Minimalism is a design style that focuses on space creation and keeping the design simple. It is not about having the bells and whistle, but instead, it is about giving you the spaces you need to breathe well and live well. During the space planning process, sufficient space is always allocated to make each furniture or item stand out on its own and give breathing spaces. Zones are created in each room so that there is enough space to perform your daily rituals. When we talk about space, one important concept is also in the area of negative spaces. Negative space in interior design is commonly referred to as the empty area in the room. Having a negative space allows light to flood into the room and for your creative mind to wander. Upon creating the different zonings, having a negative space zone without any furniture or decorations is a small detail that affects minimalist homes by providing pockets of breathing space with no cluster. Applying balance in minimalist interior design gives a welcoming and satisfying feeling through the stability and aesthetics of the interior. Moving on to the third point, we have harmony. This is often achieved by distributing the visual weight of objects within the space. The size, shape, color, and texture of an object can have a material impact on its visual weight. Objects that are larger, darker, highly textured, or closer to us in physical distance tend to look heavier. The trick is to achieve an equilibrium that relates well among all objects. In short, it is about having the right thing at the right place at the right size with the right look. It is easier to say than done. But to the trained eye, this often comes as second nature. Unity in design in the end result where all the different design elements come together to create a harmonious space where each element complements one another, giving a complete look to the overall design. Too much unity causes monotony, but too little unity causes chaos. Hence, there is still a need for a balance in each of the design principles so as to create your minimalist home. Sometimes, we do have homeowners who wonder if having patterns will work for minimalist design homes. This can be subjective. Having patterns or repetitions that is not a form of distraction can be difficult to pull off for most situations. But when successful, it can provide for a sense of unity in the space and create a unique environment. Just take note not to incorporate elements that are too busy looking or compete for attention aggressively. Next point will be rhythm and movement. Rhythm is the usage of repeated design elements to create a feeling of organized movement in the space. The rhythmic pattern helps to guide our eyes round the space in an organized way. Spaces tend to look wider and longer as they actually are. It is made possible with sleek lines that are incorporated into the interior design. The organized movement created by patterns also acts as a transition from one space to another. The decreasing progression of pattern can guide the eyes to another space smoothly, acting as a transition. Keep in mind that too much rhythmic patterns of movements can create a distracting space where your eyes will flutter around, giving no visual clarity. Using simple patterns that progressively decrease as it enters a different space allows unification. Lastly, we have focal point. To have a main focal point in a space is to create emphasis. You could consider this as a form of finishing touch. Minimalism is about having less and not having too many things that can stand out and affect your attention and focus. But having a main focal piece gives character to the space, drawing your attention to the main focal point but not distracting you at the same time. Focal points can be created by examining the main feature of the space that you want to draw people towards. An artwork, unique light fixture, furniture, or wallpaper. This can help give character to the space. Focal points can also be created by adding a pop of color, artwork, or interesting furniture. Adding a large furry rug on the floor can also be a focal point by playing with the texture. With that, we have covered all the 5 principles that we should consider when thinking about minimalist interior design. By keeping in line with most of these principles consciously, you would have the basics down in designing your own abode.